And sitting outside, the taxi starts to move, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I guess I can't be with my bossy. Again, I'm driving Lamborghini. Taxi my driver, my hamba. Yo, all of a sudden, who said taxi ni behind umganwam nam. Who said taxi ni behind umganwam nam. And he is literally on my neck, breathing the way it was so deep. Trying to remove something from the back of my neck that was literally crawling over there. This here man comes into the taxi and flirts with my friend instead of me. And I'm like, yo, evidencing my friend stealing marriage from me. But also, it's raining now, I bet you can hear. But also what I was being shown over there. Not only that, but also after flirting with my friend, he then comes back of me and my friend. And first starts flirting with my girl to make me jealous. I'm like, over and above this guy driving a car that I'm not an illegal and being such an important man. Now he wants my friend and not me. And so I was really sad in my dream, and I just sat there in the taxi feeling sorry for myself as it's driving off. And then as the taxi continues to drive, Lamborghini elaborate. He moves on from my friend that he was outwardly flirting with, and then starts to like caress and kiss like on my neck, like at the back of my neck. On some guy, I love you so much. I love you so much. Hey, macho. And he was like tickling me. Like I'm taking it. I'm really busy on my neck. Like my this here base of the neck. There is something spiritual that when you're being attacked out here across in that region, I don't know what's going on over there in terms of the brain stem and what seat of what emotion it is, what it's linked to. But it certainly has lots and lots of spiritual activity going on over there. When you're under attack spiritually, it's like on your chest. It's like a nachmeri that sits on your chest until you feel like you can't breathe and you wake up, or sleep paralysis that makes it impossible for you to move because you're being attacked. That takes over largely your whole entire body. Something and it's happened like a good 3 times to me. That crawls on the back of your neck, like just there. It crawls on the back of your neck and how papama, it's still out there, out here doing a thing until you will feel like you've got a scorpion walking over there and you'll be like, ah! And try to remove it. And I woke up like that, where this guy was out here kissing me and caressing me on my neck base. And he was like, I love you, I love you. I'm leaving his vicinity because he's acting like he don't want me. Then he comes at me and he's like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And he starts kissing my neck on the back in the ilingara, and I was so freaked out that I tried to wipe it off. Then it simmered down because I was not woken up. When I woke up from that dream, I was like, what in the world? Like, what's going on? Why am I dreaming about this guy like this? Why am I dreaming about this guy in this fashion? I don't understand. That was me being shown that he would, in waking life, act aloof, standoffish, and enjoy progress. Well, maybe not so much Lamborghinis, but just a lifestyle. But as soon as I leave, as I'm being controlled by all manner of gnarly, monstrous control, he would then all of a sudden get honest with himself and get into a taxi with me and start telling me, I love you, I love you, I love you. Essentially, I made a mistake. I want to be with you. Try to make me, long story short, as a married man, a mistress that he is most enamored with. The kind of mistress that a man is more in love with than his wife. And that's what this guy did. I will control you until you can't feel yourself. But as soon as you get out of sight, I will follow you because I will never stop loving you. And I will then finally tell you all that which you've always wanted to hear me tell you. I love you. Mara, the dream was so demonic. It was so evil. It was so incredibly diabolical. The dream was so evil that I woke up wiping off an insect on the back of my neck as opposed to a man. It was demonic. And that is what y'all end up as men. When you marry women you don't love, but when you chase clout, that's going to give you a big car. Clout that is going to give you a massive car, a massive job, a massive opportunity. Yeah, Mistress everything she's ever wanted to hear. Telling her you love her more than you've ever loved anything else. Passionately out here afflicting a woman with sorcery. until you will grab a single woman and make sure she don't get married, that she might be your lifetime mistress. Yeah, okay. Hell is real, okay? I've been saying that for a minute. And all of y'all are out here hitting the ground running, going all the way there. You are taking yourself to the abyss. You're taking yourselves to the eternal lake of fire where the worm never dies. You're making sure that you will never be okay. These here things have eternal ramifications, and I'm trying to snatch y'all out even from the flames of hell. I'm trying to get y'all to stop doing this stuff, because you can't cause the committal of adultery on the part of women and be any kind of safe as men. And as women, you can't keep nijisa madota and expect ukuthi abazolandela ama ex-girlfriend wabo like imahata later on. And so put yourselves in a position to be bereaved later on over the fact that your unfaithful husband is enamored, besotted, beside himself with adoration for a mistress. You need to stop manipulating people to enter into relationships that don't make no kind of sense. Because all that it produces in the future is infidelity, adultery, and ultimately hellfire. And this man, I don't know if I would ever succeed to reach him for Jesus, man, because he had a ex-girlfriend that he cheated on and made a baby with. We don't know if this man can get born again. Mara, I have had dreams in the season where it is that he made a phone call, found out I was dead, and mourned like a baby. Because in trying getting moyona, recently I dreamt about the same guy coming more thing, and he was a lot more humble. Mara, he was disheveled in his bocho, a lot more humble, talking to me with humility, pertaining the things of God. In a way that this man was just so glorious that evidence that though in waking life he might still like me, look good in the spirit realm. And he's a middle-aged man now, just as I'm middle-aged. I told you he's 4 years older than me, and he is stranded with a wife he doesn't love. And the two of them, I don't know what they keep on doing together, but the bottom line is this: there's a whole bunch of faking, and all this faking ultimately produces side chicks for life, mistresses for life, women that men are having affairs with that they refuse to allow to go and marry their own husbands. Oh, David messing with Bathsheba when they're perfectly marriable, because you've always been in love with them all this time, but you went and married for clout. Do not underestimate the power of loving a woman, because you're not gonna stop loving her. You're not gonna move on. You're not gonna let go. You're not gonna be content now with your cars and your business deals and your political alliances and your like mammoth connections that you gain as a result of a strategic alliance, as a strategic marriage, as a contractual marriage, as a transactional marriage. You're never gonna forget about the simpleton girl that you passed out for the wife you have no feelings for. No feeling. In exchange for a side chick that would have been a wife if you were not so shallow. You are never gonna forget her. I'm telling you now, you're never gonna forget her. And so you're gonna keep on pursuing for the life of your crazy soul. I see that it's just like, Mamela, boy, you went and married your own wife. Can I just go be comfortable in my lowly life with my lowly husband doing lowly gospel work? I'm happy to live in a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house where my kids are sharing a bedroom with a man that I'm in love with. I don't care about the acquisitions of this world because I've given my life to Jesus. But herein lies you living in your big fat echo chamber of a house. I'm prepared to let a mistress go, a mistress prospect go, trying to cause a woman or a woman that you weren't even all that in love with when you married her, to sing the boy's mind with a woman that you are just out here pursuing. The woman doesn't want to be a mistress. And now your wife is like, the boy is mine, the boy is mine, the boy is mine, the boy is mine. I don't care about your little boys. I want my own husband. I don't care about all that which you've amassed for yourselves. Listen, repent, okay? Repent. And I'm out here trying to warn this incendiary mammoth content creator, wamu cute. Have you seen the movie Temptation? Mammoth content creator, that's cute. Black man out here passing out black women because they're not Indian enough. Have you seen Temptation? Judith is out here. She's this woman that had this extramarital affair with Harley, and messed up her marriage. And there is a woman in her counseling chair as a therapist that she is giving advice to not go out on her husband. She's telling her a story. This woman feels like she has met the love of her life. She feels like she has met something that gives her excitement. It gives her jubilation. It gives her a run. And then she goes on to tell the story that cost her marriage with Harley. Not Harley, but Bryce. She goes on to tell the story that destroyed her future with Bryce. And by the end of that movie, this here white chick is convicted, and she's like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna go and fix things with my husband. I'm not gonna let myself enter into an extramarital affair with another guy. I'm gonna keep my man. My hope and my prayer is that this here big chunky content creator that came at me, will not continue this thing that he's doing where I'm concerned and where any woman that he might have feelings for is concerned. Because listen here, general individual. Judith's story is the story I am telling about this here gentleman. And me narrating it is me talking to a person about to make a most heinous mistake. Marry a woman for all the wrong reasons. You will pursue some side chick of the past, some woman of the past, and try to make out of her a side chick and deny her marriage. Especially considering you are an occult practitioner. Allow yourself to be sobered. To not do that thing just like that white chick at the end of the movie Temptation. Do not let yourself go down this rabbit hole. Because there is a man that is besotted with me that has held me hostage right now, that passed me up time and time again, was given more than enough evidence to realize what in the world is going to make all the kinds of sense for him, and yet ran with a lady that he's not in love with. And still to this day was busy, and now he looks all sabotified in my dreams. The last dream that I got about this guy, before, of course, this here season that I am in, where the man, I saw him again looking all nice and contrite, however, in this dream, he was getting married to this woman, and when I got this dream, I didn't care, I didn't mind. I wasn't hurt that he was getting married. It had been already some years after I had moved on from him, but he had never moved on from me. It had been years since I had moved on from this man, but he had not moved on from me. Listen, if you know that Percy Sledge song, when a man loves a woman, nothing can keep him away. Blah da 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 da, ba da 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 da. If a man loves a woman, then you better love her God. And if a man loves a woman, then you better go where under heaven she is at and fetch her. And if a man loves a woman, if she will upon you talking to her, hearken to you, you then better clean her up, put her in the house, worship her God, and then go and marry her rather. That's what you do. If you felt that strongly, then you ought to have done a lot more to try. And you ought to have worked a lot harder to try and ascertain acquisition of this female. I will tell you yet again another story as I digress. My aunt, he cheated on her and had a child with another woman, and so cheating on her when they were still on the come up. They dated when everybody was still in high school, and somewhere along the way, my uncle had an affair as he was cheating with some other lady, had a baby with her, and my aunt was mad and angry and upset and sad and hurt. And so she moved back to the Eastern Cape where she was from, leaving my uncle. My uncle was from the Soweto. My uncle was from these streets, and I don't even know how he met my aunt, seeing as he was always a dude all about these Soweto streets, but nonetheless he was from the Soweto. Wathatha taxi, bus, train. We don't know what in the world he done took, but he done took it. Wamlanda Lomfazi, Eastern Cape, where she was going to recuperate from the fact that his boyfriend Mistress, some other chick. She was there first, and my uncle went and impregnated some other woman, otherwise known as the half sister of my cousins. And Wamlanda la kona, Wamlanda, Wamfutra. And he begged and he groveled and he mourned and he begged and he groveled. When a man loves a woman, Wamlanda. And then my aunt was like, fine, I'll forgive you. Wamtata back. And they got married and had their own 2 children. Though she was supposed to be baby mama number 1, she was baby mama number 2. But this man loved her enough to take taxi seeing as he didn't have no car. Train in the days of apartheid. Everything that he had to take Wamlanda, Eastern Cape, Wakivela, Greyhound. Wamlanda, taking a risk that she will say, I don't want you, but she came back home with him and he married her. And today they're still married. That's what you do if you love a woman enough. This guy was privy to my content. Obo neke latlhegelwa. Obo neke swabiswa. Obo neke treatwa like rubbish. And he had more than enough warning in history as to what happens when a God-fearing woman is with a man who ain't no God. She is content to accommodate singlehood if you won't love her. And so therefore, his ex-girlfriend had passed away that was godly, that was sickly, okay, and died in Christ, however. That was his first sign and hint. And then LinkedIn. If this dude could not get over me and nature, seeing as he kept on looking at my content, he kept on listening to everything that I said, and he was besotted with me. What he was supposed to do after losing everything, seeing as I out-tailed him like Mukhata, he was supposed to say, Mamela, I'ma go find her, and I will be happy to even worship her God. At some point, she was willing to accommodate my daughter. Nyomlanda, I'm not in love, Lana. I'm right. angikho happy. Ngiyochata umfazi ongekho that I'm not in love with on my wedding day kuzobe kuringa. Some other woman in my mind. Some other woman is gonna be like going in my brain. Mamela kuzobe kudume ukarabo. On the day ngichata, how are you gonna go and finish marrying? Kudume omunye umfazi on your wedding day. Mamela, you are just saying I do. You may now kiss the bride and you've got some other woman ringing in your head. Utatawa ko reception ngabuthi. Just so you can start making that you finished, you concluded a contract only more enamored with someone else. This man was supposed to get on a train, a taxi, a bus, an aeroplane. After all, does he not love aeroplanes? Like this, and seeing as he had memory of and I was willing to basically just kind of lay down everything for him. He would have overcome the taboo. He would have said, I don't care, because I realize I love you too much to let that be an issue. He would have said, I'll take your God, because I know that you won't want to be with a man that don't want your God. After all, I've been with a woman that whose God I didn't want, your God, the Christian God, and I lost her. And she passed away and I felt like trash. I can't lose you. He would have said, I know you're broke, you're poor, you ain't got jack, but I'm a man. I'll see what we can do. I don't want to. And he was supposed to then grab my bags and take me to wherever he went and disappoint and say, I'm sorry, but I don't love you. This here is my heart. And now today, whatever taboo we might have faced, we'd be together. Because I would have probably, as a Christian woman, listened to him talk, been stumbled, taken it to God, asked the Lord, what's giving? Is he really born again? And is this going to humiliate me? And upon inquiring with the Lord and then finding out that he's genuinely seeking my God, I would have then been like, fine, I'll go with you everywhere you go. But please, you can't be pulling no stunts on me again. After all, I felt like it was all nice and providential when I met you that fateful day in training. So maybe God was doing it. I may have actually hearkened to him. I may have actually accommodated him. At some point, I was willing to lay down everything, even take his daughter as my stepkid. I was willing to take all that in my stride. And this guy went and passed me up and felt sad at the end of a date instead of realize that he's messing up. All he did was feel nice and hella chunky sad at the end of a date, rather than acknowledge to himself that I enjoyed myself over here, I'm in love, I'm falling, and I'm about to go on holiday with someone that is transactional. He's broken two women's hearts, but the other one, frankly, don't deserve no amnesty, because why you be out just listening a man? Because later on you're going to be broken-hearted at the emotional affair that your husband is having with someone that he would much rather be with instead of you. It's like a whole thing. So, if he had made like my uncle, as to what would have happened. If he had made like my uncle and went to Eastern Cape, auntie, we assessed if we'd be speaking as Karabo about Ukarabo as auntie, and there be an older daughter in the equation where a man went and had children with his now spouse that is inside a man. Like, I don't know what would have happened. All I know is that I like this guy enough. So if you were to stand here as a kuluma nama like deep voice Zulu, I would have been like Mamela boy Nakimzalwan and a very hectic to Tamudini. You and I were peas in a pod, birds of a feather. We got along like house on fire. We both are intellectually inclined. And I told Nama, how are you blasphemous? How you? Every so often I have these below the belt comments that you be dropping. You keep on insulting me. I get shocked when I'ma pray about it. Okay? Because I don't want to be reviled already, my life sucks. So, and then upon, like I said, inquiring of the Lord, we would have then seen how this thing goes. Before I but instead, what do? I get a dream before I chat. Like, as in a good, like months, y'all. It was months. Months before he married. If anything, I don't even know when he married, but I just see some of his pics online. After Anya, because this guy made sure that I keep on checking him out because I kept dreaming about him. All I know is that the wedding that he concluded was months before. The dream that I got was months before. The dream that I got was months before he concluded marriage, or Linyalo. And I wasn't in love with him at that stage. I was like, Papa, I moved on. I was so moved on. There is only one man that ever made me cry when he got married. It's the guy that I used to think was my future husband. Lona Mengi Pumebuye. I'm not feeling when a person decides to straighten up and fly right. Anyway, whatever. Months prior to him getting married, I am studying again. I don't know what is up with Jarata. Yeah, my aunt, it wasn't just like a generational curse nonsense. Anyway, I'm out here hanging out, making like a 10 good Jara chain, yeah, my auntie. And I'm just chilling, overlooking wedding, yeah, or reception. Not reception, sorry, Mara. It's like the the wedding had yet to commence, but it was the day of the wedding, and the garden thingy, my bobbies all over the show. It was like a wedding at a venue. And the whole aisle where the bride walks down was already prepared, but the chairs were yet to be populated. It was essentially a wedding venue, waiting for a wedding to happen before it happened. Hours before it happened. But I'm out here getting this dream months before it happened. And I'm just looking on from like a bird's-eye view, dog. Like a bird's-eye view. I'm looking onto this thing all like a daisical chill at my aunt's house. It was a bird's-eye view, however, it was from the vantage point of my aunt's house, evidencing just the root cause of all the incendiary sabotage against my family's life. I'm sitting perched looking at all this, and I'm feeling nothing but looking at all this. This guy's getting married. I'm like, okay, do you go marry? I'm your child. Yo, yeah, mida. And then this guy sees me. The groom is the bride is yet to walk down to him, and I'm having my guest. He walks in this scene, wedding venue, and looks around, and then looks back. He looks back. Do you understand? Perched like a little birdie on a roof. Mamela, it was such a long distance. It's almost as if though it would be like, just to explain to you the height at which I was looking at this guy's wedding venue. It would be like looking at from a skyscraper, looking at some activity happening from the terrace, the window, the balcony of this hotel skyscraper on like the 15th floor, let's say even 25th floor, from the 25th floor, and you're looking at like 4 streets down at some activity going on, those 4 streets of people like Babu Wakwateng, Baterecha, you can see them, but they're like small little wax figurines, they're small little figurines, action figures. Yeah, that was the distance at which I was perched, elevated at my aunt's house, overlooking Lingelo Lena, the preparations, the thing. It was that distance, that far, Lingelo thing, like that far. And this man that I'm looking at as this like action figure size, walking up and down this venue, he looked back. As I'm there for balcony, instead of a balcony of this 12th floor, the 25th floor of the skyscraper, it was over my aunt's house. One bona there, one gibona there, one gibona over there, y'all. And as soon as he spotted me, the Mudlona, from that distance, from that far away, was like like a gundwani, like fast, like the flash. He like out here, like almost low key, kind of flew to where I was at. And next thing he was here. And I was like, whoa. And he was like, Mamela. He was touching me. He was kissing me. He was hugging me. He was holding me. And he was like, I love you. Let's go. Let's run away together. I love you. At this stage, I'm like, whoa, guy, no, you're stumbling me. You're confusing me. I was in my dream thoroughly out to repetitively saying, you're confusing me. Because as he was busy saying, I love you, my heart, my feelings were like out here getting spurred up. I was content to merely just watch my chatter from a distance. But as soon as he spotted me, more building, and then starts caressing me, kissing me, just like in the taxi. But in the taxi, I get another go. And so, God, so I keep feeling like there's something crawling on my neck. This time, I'm suna. I'm all up on my neck. I'm haga. I'm squeeze. Let's go. I don't want to marry her. I was like, whoa. And then in the dream, all I kept saying was, you're confusing me. And oh, yes. In my dream, another thing that I was thinking about was about your best friend is my ex-boyfriend. I was like, you're confusing me, and your best friend is my ex-boyfriend. So maybe the guy did know. Perhaps that was one of the reasons why he was apprehensive about continuing to pursue me. I don't know. I don't think so. Like, I don't know. Chiki was holding on to this dude like that. Okay. I was like, you're confusing me, plus your best friend is my ex-boyfriend. One confuser plus your best friend is my ex-boyfriend. And then the dream ended. The feelings I felt in my dream, all that korobela, all that nonsense emotion, I felt it. I was like, oh my goodness, no, I can't feel like this about this guy again. Let me dust it off. At this stage, I'm already born again. But then I also was like, I would only interpret it, guys, once I lost everything. And this guy got married a few years after I lost my career. He was not like the other guy that I thought was my future husband that got married 1 year after. No, that got married in the same year that I lost everything. That's him. And then I found out only a year later that he got married. This year, dude, would take a few more years to finally marry this woman. A few more years. So Like he got married, like I lost my career, my job, pretty much my whole life fell apart in 2014. So he married like 2016 or 17. Only had 2016 and 17, and the whole time he was watching me. The whole time he was watching my content. The whole time when I shebile my struggle, my sorrow. The whole time when I shebile he was given time, and in the dream that I had finally, that he was out entering into, and he was like, I love you, and I was like, you're confusing me, and your best friend is my ex-boyfriend. I'm confused, and your best friend is my ex. Yeah, petty poop. Okay, well then I would years later come to find out that he got married, and I was not afflicted, but I did not stop getting dreams about him, so I googled him. And I was like, okay, I wasn't feeling bitter or raw or any kind of way about his marriage. I never got to a point where I let myself feel strongly about this guy. So, all that I'm easy about. I did it. High 5, high 10. And he was not that guy. Though he would have been that guy if I had given him any kind of airtime. Okay, that was this guy. So that was the last dream that I got about him when I was pretty much still employed. I think I got this dream when I was still employed, or maybe like a year after going. No, it was certainly when I was still employed. But this year would only come to pass, of course. Years later, listen to that. Like in my dream, their wedding reception was prepared and everything, and it was on the day of the wedding. And the guy, as soon as he spotted me, was like, I love you. But in waking life, the day of the wedding was actually a whole 3 years. 3 years. You can't be given all that time and be any kind of decent and regular. In waking life, it would take 3 years for this guy to not only get down on his knees and propose to a woman he doesn't love, but then organize weddings, book venues, get suits, get dresses, and then walk a lady down the aisle to you. Conclude a marriage. Was somebody else. Y'all done do stuff like that, and it's all nice and creepy weird. It don't make no kind of sense to be marrying anybody other than umuntu odumengaye, especially if umuntu odumengaye may consider you if you hollered at her. And this decision that you're making is inspired by no other thing. Listen, no other thing but clout. You're chasing clout, you're chasing cars, you're chasing careers, you're chasing strategic alliances, you're chasing business deals, and you're ignoring love. And now you are the bane of single women's existence. Now you have turned a woman 41 without a husband and no children. Y'all passed me up. I could have been married to any one of these random guys, but it didn't happen. And the last batch of them, it didn't happen because I lost a job. And now, after telling you this here very creepy story, it's giving a medieval horror all the day long. Yeah, after telling you this creepy story, let me then tell you about this gentleman, big chunky content creator, the dream that I got about him. It is right now 6:54 in the morning, and I am bushed like a jungle and drained like some plumbing. But we're gonna talk, okay? Let's now finally get to gentlemen that I'm hoping to convict to repent. I got a dream, and a manje, this is the man that I thought was cute. I don't just be out here getting strange feelings for people I don't be knowing no kind of day. In my dreams, unless at some point I had looked at them like, whoa, what a hot boy. I told you about the celebrity in this country that already I thought, whoa, what a hot boy. And then I got a dream where I was just afflicted by emotions. I was made to marry him in my dream. It was all passionate. I would never have feelings for someone I would, under normal circumstances, never ever get feelings. So I guess that's like God's protection or whatever. In my dream, I was in this like kasi, and it's like the restaurants, you know, this like these themes that restaurant dreaming. God, give me understanding exactly as to what that is. I guess restaurants are a place of dining, an environment of exchanging notes and ideas, a place where you be out here consuming information, right? Maybe that's why I was there. The restaurant is very lowly. The restaurant is like evidencing a place likely where Christians are serving food, but their food is underestimated. But this guy was there, and his presence was, upon being there, understood by people who worked at these restaurants, serving this food. He was understood as, whoa, what is he doing here among us? He was understood as, we are these lowly peasants, and this guy is just such a great guy. He's so big. Why is he here in a gassy restaurant? Why is he here? Why is he here? Like out here eating magwinya with all of us? We are selling snowfish, namakipki. This guy is the type to eat champagne, to eat caviar and drink champagne. We can't give him hors d'oeuvres. Only he got that. Like we are not in his league. He is big in comparison to us. There were all these chicks in this restaurant that looked at the presence of this guy among us in our restaurant as asimfaneli. Kodwa kule ndawo lena. He was in and of himself kind of disheveled. He was in and of himself actually also giving decrepit. He was in and of himself not looking the best, but we, however, in spite of it all, gazed at him like, whoa, what's he doing among us lowly randos? And this environment was teeming at the folds with women in particular that worked in these restaurants, but there were some guys too. And then now, working amidst these restaurateurs, these ladies that work here, and these guys. Nami, I was like, what are you doing here? I missed that. We are no one in front of this guy. What are you doing hanging out with all of us? I felt the same way that everybody in this dream that was lowly in comparison to this man felt. Like, how is he looking at any of us? How is he trying to eat anywhere where we are at? Is this guy truly humble to be hanging out with all of our gassified bodies? We all felt that way as a conglomerate of restaurateurs in this dream. But like I said, in and of himself, he was disheveled. It's raining outside. This rain is distracting me. In and of himself, he was disheveled. Disheveled right? I had to switch off the fan. It's so cold. Okay. In and of himself, he was looking kind of disheveled. So he wasn't looking the best. Eventually, the Spirit of God was evidencing that we might think nothing of ourselves as Christians, but they're also nothing in the sight of God. We're all humanity on the same level. We are equalized. And so what echelons that mankind might create, God does not see it that way. But we had a perception as Christians as why would you want to hang out with us? And in particular, there were Christian women in this space. Why would you want to hang out with us, pursue us, talk to us when you're so important, Mr. Popular? That's how we felt. We understood that this man was misplaced, but nonetheless, he looks just as disheveled as us. However, our perception of him was different from what was the truth. I wish this rain would stop so I wouldn't speak at the top of my voice, that I might get this message out already. I'm tired now. I'm pushed like a jungle at this point, but it won't stop. It might, but it might not also. Okay, this here is the gentleman. All busy hovering around these here restaurants, and then he decided, it was just so shocking to me in my dream. It was so incredibly shocking to me that out of all these women in my dream that could not believe that this guy was among us, he nonetheless was. I wish this rain would stop because I just want to convey this dream with solemnity and with quietness. But maybe so let me just carry on. Okay, this man was here, and out of all the ladies that were out here waiting tables at this restaurant, long story short, out of all the Christians that he decided to immerse himself on me, he focused his attention on me. He first came to the table that I was serving. He first came to the table where I was serving and was like, hey, and I was like, hi. And you know, when I responded to him in my dream like, hi, I was confused. Why are you talking to me? People like you don't talk to people like me. Why you talk? But he was talking, and he then started to inquire of me. He started to just ask me questions. He sat there. I wish this rain would stop. I just want to speak with solemnity, but like goodness, man. And I don't want to pause. Anyway, whatever, you can hear me. Bet you can also hear the rain. It's not like you can't hear me, so let's just carry on. It's like this man was he was inquiring of me. He not only tapped on my shoulder, sat at my table. Like I was waiting tables at this restaurant, and this man, he started to sit down, and he had so much authority that he got me to stop working. He got me to stop working as a waitress and made me sit down. He made me sit down just to koka with it. In my dream, this rain is so distracting, and I'm so tired. Under normal circumstances, I would be happy with the sound of the rain, but right now I want to just share the gist of this dream with everybody without being distracted about how noisy the roof is with the rain landing on it. I'm so tired. and the rain is not making life any easier. This man, I wish I could just pause and wait for the rain to subside. At some point it will. Mara, she's there now on 70 and we are on a roster, a timetable. I don't want to speak loudly. I just want to convey this dream that you might get the gist of the emotion even in it. The emotion even in the dream. That you might understand what in the world was going on over here. It was calamitizing. It was catastrophic. It was the stuff of nuclear explosions. It was rotten, though it felt like home. Because these dreams are always rotten, though they feel like home. In the same way that every time that guy that I just told you guys about now, the one story I just told about the guy I met in training, every time when I woke up I felt afflicted by the demonic attack, I would dream about this guy and I would feel right at home inside this ugly dream. I would feel good inside the dream. The feelings were awesome, but when I would wake up I would understand it's demonic and I would also feel attacked. And that's exactly what happened in this dream with this guy. Guys, are you gonna keep on experimenting on Christians for how long? How long are you gonna keep on doing witchcraft spells on saints, trying to make yourself be the final people that'll take them over? I am having such a hard time speaking because of this rain. I don't need this distraction right now, but it's here. I don't need it. I don't need it, but it's out here walking at me. It's looking at me, and I'm not feeling that it's looking at me because I don't want it to look at me, but it's looking. Okay. Trochelang ho jola rough like it's sandpaper, and then trochelang ho loya rough just like that sandpaper. As you can tell, I'm trying to buy time because we need to be speaking with our normal secret voice to share this here information. I cannot do disfavor or disjustice to the street. Disjustice, yeah, that's a dream. That's a word. Injustice. I can't do injustice to the stream. Mara pula keo yanke. Ay, mara empa pula ito mudimu. Kaya kaya amukela rechare. Ake rateng pula. Kubani akire ele pa bohocho lanteletella. Kuparuska toyang pula. Kaya nje singa zondi impula. I funu stop an impula. I kulungile. I'll talk through it. I'll talk over it. Kita kota utimayon. Na kita palamang kara kesifate pula ena. Kita palamang kara ketraine yang Eastern Kipi wala ta usi o dampileng muna. Kita bontsha mawaya wa teng yona ebe en tlogele tswa mo nna nka re ke sephinya ke tla palama pula nka re ke sefofane se yang overseas le gona re gone go tseba overseas re tla palama pula. I think it's quiet enough then pula cause we on kala undiekele we o kumagi mvula ay angel pula. Okay, let me just try and share this because I'm just gonna get delayed by rain that might just rain for the next hour and I'm not gonna be here all those years. Like, I'm just not doing it. Anyway, this man sat at the table where I was waiting tables, and he frankly had enough authority to make me sit down. Almost like, imagine a man that owns a restaurant, and you know that he's the CEO of that restaurant, or the owner. And as a waitress, you want to be found going about your business working in this restaurant, especially in front of your boss. But then your boss comes in and sits down at a table at this restaurant, and you're surprised that he chose your table. You're surprised that he chose your table because he's your boss. Like, my goodness, he chose you, so you better show your best. And then when you try to serve him, he's like, sit down. If your boss tells you to sit down at a restaurant that you are waiting at, you're not going to be worried about getting orders. You're not going to be worried about missing tips. And you're also not going to be worried about not being found going about your job, because your boss himself is sitting there telling you, please sit down, I want to talk to you. This man made me sit down like that in my dream. I was waiting tables, all of us were bustling, all of us, and we were all working, and we were serving lowly food. It was like a scasi restaurants, like Ipaza, like places where you sell fish, man, and not so much like steak and chops, marapapa, limorofo. It was that kind of restaurant. It's food, it's edible, it's healthy, but it's underestimated because it's costly. This was this kind of restaurant. And don't nobody be out there expecting this kind of man to rock up at that kind of restaurant. And I'm a waitress in it, and he not only rocks up in the space and shocks everybody working there that, whoa, what's this man doing here? But he then also sits down at my particular table. And I'm like, whoa, he's sitting at my table. I then try to wait him and basically serve him. And then he tells me, sit down, and starts talking with me. And because he had the kind of clout and the kind of authority that would render me not so much unemployed or even useless and not doing my job, but just simply summoned, I sat in my dream. Listen, I sat down, and I initially, Mamela, The dream was just like, oh, it was so restaurant-like. You know the fatuku that waiters and waitresses walk around with, and they just put them over their laps so they can keep on being able to wipe down tables. I was out here with that like fatuku over me, and I kept on playing around ka fatuku because I was twiddling my thumbs. I couldn't understand why this big guy was talking to me. Though he was disheveled, however, my perception of him was that he's huge. He's too huge to be talking to me. Okay, so I'm busy playing ka fatuku that was under normal circumstances on my shoulder. I'm out here rocking my apron and everything in my restaurant outfit. And I sit down and I'm playing around Kafatuku. And this guy is talking to me. And he starts to have a conversation with me like I'm a person, like I'm a human being. Not so much like somebody that he has just summoned, but someone that he is inquiring of. He was curious and he wanted to talk about big matters like world issues and to gauge my opinion on certain things and to understand my vantage point, how I would posit an argument. He was essentially tapping into my intellectual space. And so I relaxed. I ultimately calmed down and I stopped being scared in front of the CEO guy, in front of the restaurant man, in front of the owner. Like he had that kind of authority. And I stopped being trepidatious and calmed down like I was talking to a peer. Essentially the thing that I lamented about when I first started talking here. That I am so wary of looking at men that ought be my peers that however look at me like I ain't Jack. And in my dream, I was finally awarded by this guy the level of respect that men in my peer league ought to give me because of the fact that I have made something of myself as a result of belonging to their peer league. But they don't because of my socioeconomic standing as a result of all the censorship. Okay, he spoke to me like a person in the peer league that had mad respect for everything I gotta say. And so I stopped being all restaurant-like and stopped twiddling around with my fatuku. And I sat down and I out here ended up like chatting with him like this at that table. I was chatting with him like this. And now you know how when you're chatting with somebody that you're getting along with like a house on fire, how you also start flailing hands and you start laughing, you start reclining your chair and you start like, you might as well like stand up, high five, chest bump and do like a secret handshake. We spoke for hours. Like it felt it was hours in my dream. Of course, maybe it was unlikely hours in waking life, though I do sleep for hours, but in my dream, it lingered for hours. It's like the kind of stuff that causes people to fall hella in love. Do you understand? Like just violently in love, like meeting a dude 2 nights and then you end up closing the restaurant with him even though you met him 2 nights. I mean, that's giving long-term relationship. It's ending up in marriage, okay? Yeah, there are people who meet 2 nights wherever they might find themselves, at work, 2 day at work. There are people who meet 2 day at the jazz festival. There are people who meet a 2 night at the pub or the bar. Those of you that are in the world out here perusing pubs and bars. There are people who meet 2 nights at a restaurant. 2 nights at a conference, 2 nights at a bowling alley, 2 nights, and they close the shop. They close the mall. They have to get kicked out by security. They, after getting kicked out, go and they grab a burger at McDonald's and keep talking until the sun rises. There are people who meet like that and talk all night and all day. And that's what happened in my dream. This guy rocked up, told me to sit down. I sat down, initially twiddling ifatugu, all confused. Everybody out here in this restaurant, when then I was talking with them, were like, yo, this guy is out here, like proper, he's hollering at one of us. Like everybody was like, he's hollering at one, like he's talking with Karabo. Like it's almost like the staff at this restaurant was shocked that not only is he talking to me, but he appears to be showing interest in me. And everybody was like, whoa, he doesn't generally hang out with the likes of us, but now he looks like he actually likes the likes of us. That's how everybody was looking at the situation. It was a shock, but they were neutral about that. I didn't pick up any envy, just shock and pleasant surprise. The conversation lingers hours until I'm relaxed and I don't feel like I'm any kind of waitress. But as I'm talking with him, there then also were like feelings that spurred up in my heart. Feelings that were gauged as belonging to both of us. We, however, were talking about the things of God and we were talking about politics and we were talking about matters of earthly importance and not about romance. We were not talking about liking each other. We were not talking about, oh, you're cute and I think you're cute. Oh, I like you and you like me. Oh, listen, I think you're handsome and I hope you think I'm pretty. We were not flirting. We were just talking. We were not fraternizing. We were just exchanging pleasantries. We were on a conversational discourse. We were not spawning, but feelings spurred up because of, what do you call this thing? Kindred spirits. Essentially realizing that, yo, you my people, yo, I'm your people. We're right up each other's alley. And that's how this conversation went on. Feelings developed inside me and in him. How do I know feelings developed inside him? It's a dream. You be out here knowing what other people are thinking and what other people are feeling. Okay? So this guy had feelings for me. I had feelings for him, though nobody just showed feelings. Neither evidence that they were like speaking about feelings, or neither did they evidence that they were romantically interested. It was just a very neutral conversation where, thanks to us getting along concerning it, feelings developed. But nobody ever showed it. Only that we were continuing to talk about things that we all agreed on. Okay? And Mamela, because feelings developed between me and this guy. However, this guy is not born again. I am. I am a Christian, and I was a Christian in my dream. The conversations about God were weighty on him. They were heavy. The whole entire dream was in the context of a very dark environment. It was exceptionally, crookedly dark. It was just dark. It was shrouded in darkness, evidencing a malevolent spirit and witchcraft, and that this guy was on a mission to make me finally water myself down so that I can be handed over to other ugly men. Go and read the book of Obadiah if you wanna, but you can also listen to some of my other content where I was unraveling the book of Obadiah, where Edom just stood aloof and watched Israel get massacred by her enemies, and then not only did this, but also handed her over upon raiding her in the streets to those enemies, and then also cut them off themselves, kill them, just so they can unfulfill God's prophecy over Jacob pertaining Esau. When you stand aloof and you enable the cause of an enemy camp to destroy the daughters of God or the sons of God, you will endure the fate of Esau, of Edom, and in so enduring that fate, be found nowhere in history going forward. You cannot stand aloof at the sorrow and the desecration of Christians, and then after that, hand them over, those who survive and who escape, to their enemies, or should they survive or escape, and be kept as a going concern by God. Go and read the book of Obadiah. That's what this guy did to me in the dream. It was all a strategy. He had genuine feelings for me, but they were to him irrelevant, because you're snacks, you're no one. I can't be out here humoring feelings for a peasant. I'm here on a job, and I don't care if I like you.